Hello and welcome to this channel. I dare you to cast aside your common tongue and embrace the theatrical splendor of a truly magnificent alternative, where eloquence, though absurdly long, is oftentimes the best alternative. If this flourish of language has pleased your sensibilities, I beg you to strike the like button and subscribe, lest our future acquaintance be left to the whims of cruel fate. Instead of saying, "I love you," say, "Every fiber of my mortal being has conspired to form a most inconvenient and overwhelming attachment to your person, such that the very sun seems to borrow its luster from your countenance, and my heart beats a rhythm that spells out your name in the language of the ancients." Instead of saying, "I'm hungry," say, "I find that my internal chambers have fallen into a state of most hollow and echoing desolation, and unless a roasted fowl or a crust of bread is presented to my person post-haste, I shall surely wither away into a mere shadow of my former magnificence." Instead of saying, "Shut up," say, "I beg of you, pray cease the relentless vibration of your vocal apparatus, for the sheer volume of your discourse has begun to lay siege to my very sanity, and I find myself yearning for the sweet, silent embrace of a tomb." Instead of saying, "Go away," say, "I must humbly request that you remove your physical presence from my immediate vicinity and seek a distant horizon. For the air in this room has grown heavy with the burden of your proximity, and I find my patience thinning like a worn silk waistcoat." Instead of saying, "You're lying," say, "I fear that the words currently tumbling from your lips have taken a most adventurous detour away from the province of reality, and I suspect your tongue has been bribed by the devil himself to weave a tapestry of most imaginative and colorful falsehoods." Instead of saying, "I'm tired," say, "The weight of 1,000 sleepless midnights has settled upon my brow, and my limbs feel as though they have been fashioned from heavy lead and soaked in the river of lethargy, leaving me with no desire but to collapse upon a divan and remain undisturbed for a fortnight." Instead of saying, "I don't care," say, "The degree of my indifference toward the matter you have presented is so vast and profound that it could swallow the entire Atlantic Ocean without leaving so much as a ripple upon the surface of my absolute and utter lack of concern." May your day be filled with endless wonders and whims. Would you like more of these? Then follow now. Hello and welcome to this channel. I dare you to cast aside your common tongue and embrace the theatrical splendor of a truly magnificent alternative, where eloquence, though absurdly long, is oftentimes the best alternative. If this flourish of language has pleased your sensibilities, I beg you to strike the like button and subscribe, lest our future acquaintance be left to the whims of cruel fate. Instead of saying, "That's ugly," say, "It appears that the visual harmony of the universe has suffered a most grievous blow in the creation of this particular object, which offends the very concept of aesthetics and causes a sympathetic ache in the eyes of any unfortunate soul who happens to gaze upon it." Instead of saying, "I forgot," say, "The information you previously entrusted to my care has wandered off into the misty, uncharted corridors of my mind, and despite my most frantic efforts to retrieve it, the memory remains as elusive as a ghost in a gale-force wind." Instead of saying, "Check the time," say, "Pray, consult your mechanical timepiece and inform me of the current progression of the celestial clockwork, for I suspect the hours have been thieving moments from us while we sat here engaged in this most exhaustive and winding conversation." Instead of saying, "I'm broke," say, "My coffers have been rendered as barren as a desert in a drought, and my pockets contain naught but the ghosts of former coins that have long since departed for more prosperous shores." Instead of saying, "You're wrong," say, "I suspect that your intellectual faculties have taken a most unfortunate detour into a forest of delusion, where the light of reason has been entirely eclipsed by the shadows of your own misunderstanding." Instead of saying, "It's hot," say, "The very air has conspired to bake my mortal frame as if I were a common loaf of bread in a baker's oven, and I find my dignity melting away beneath this most unyielding and celestial furnace." Instead of saying, "I'm bored," say, "The passage of time has slowed to a crawl so agonizing that I can feel each individual second grinding against my soul like a dull blade against a stone, leaving me in a state of most profound and stagnant apathy. May your day be filled with endless wonders and whims. Would you like more of these? Then follow now. Hello and welcome to this channel. I dare you to cast aside your common tongue and embrace the theatrical splendor of a truly magnificent alternative, where eloquence, though absurdly long, is oftentimes the best alternative. If this flourish of language has pleased your sensibilities, I beg you to strike the like button and subscribe, lest our future acquaintance be left to the whims of cruel fate. Instead of saying, "Nice to meet you," say, "The stars have surely aligned in a most auspicious configuration to allow our paths to intersect in this fleeting moment of earthly existence, and I am humbled by the sheer providence of our acquaintance." Instead of saying, "Call me later," say, "I implore you to cast a signal across the ether at a more sequestered hour, so that we might engage in a discourse that is not hampered by the frantic pace of this present and most chaotic afternoon." Instead of saying, "That's weird," say, "I find that my sensibilities are being tugged in a direction that is entirely unfamiliar, and I am struck by a sensation that the natural order of things has been momentarily suspended in favor of this most peculiar occurrence." Instead of saying, "I'm lost," say, "The geographical certainty I once possessed has vanished like smoke in a gale, and I find myself a wandering pilgrim in a land that refuses to yield its secrets to my increasingly desperate and confused gaze." Instead of saying, "You look good," say, "Your physical presentation has achieved a level of aesthetic harmony so profound that it threatens to overwhelm the visual faculties of any mere mortal who has the audacity to look directly upon your person." Instead of saying, "Hurry up," say, "I must insist that you accelerate your physical movements with the utmost urgency, for the sands in the hourglass are falling with a relentless speed that mocks our current and most sluggish progression." Instead of saying, "I'm sick," say, "A most vengeful and invisible malady has taken up residence within my constitution, waging a war against my vitality and leaving me in a state of such wretched frailty that even the lifting of a teacup feels a Herculean task." May your day be filled with endless wonders and whims. Would you like more of these? Then follow now. Hello and welcome to this channel. I dare you to cast aside your common tongue and embrace the theatrical splendor of a truly magnificent alternative, where eloquence, though absurdly long, is oftentimes the best alternative. If this flourish of language has pleased your sensibilities, I beg you to strike the like button and subscribe, lest our future acquaintance be left to the whims of cruel fate. Instead of saying, "I'm scared," say, "A cold and trembling hand has reached out from the shadows of my imagination to grip my very heart, sending a shiver of most exquisite and paralyzing dread through the entirety of my nervous system." Instead of saying, "It's expensive," say, "The price demanded for this singular object is so vastly disproportionate to its earthly value that it borders on a form of highway robbery, and I fear my purse would weep tears of silver were I to agree to such a ransom." Instead of saying, "Happy birthday," say, "I wish to offer my most sincere felicitations on the anniversary of your emergence into this mortal realm, and may the coming year treat you with more kindness than the cruel hand of time usually permits." Instead of saying, "I'm angry," say, "A tempest of most righteous and smoldering indignation is currently swirling within the chambers of my heart, and I find it increasingly difficult to maintain the facade of a calm and collected soul." Instead of saying, "I don't know," say, "The answer to your inquiry resides in a hidden valley of knowledge to which I have not been granted a map, leaving me to wander in a state of most humble and utter intellectual darkness." Instead of saying, "Wait for me," say, "I beg of you to anchor your person to this very spot and resist the urge to drift away, for I shall be following in your wake as quickly as my heavy boots and tired limbs will allow me to travel." Instead of saying, "Check this out," say, "I invite you to direct your visual attention toward this singular phenomenon, which I suspect will challenge your preconceived notions of reality and provide a most stimulating diversion for your wandering mind." May your day be filled with endless wonders and whims. Would you like more of these? Then follow now. Hello and welcome to this channel. I dare you to cast aside your common tongue and embrace the theatrical splendor of a truly magnificent alternative, where eloquence, though absurdly long, is oftentimes the best alternative. If this flourish of language has pleased your sensibilities, I beg you to strike the like button and subscribe, lest our future acquaintance be left to the whims of cruel fate. Instead of saying goodbye, say, "The hour has arrived for our separate destinies to pull us apart once more, and so I bid you a most fond and lingering farewell until the fates decide to weave our threads back into the same tapestry." Instead of saying calm down, say, "I beseech you to rein in the galloping horses of your passions, for such a frantic state of mind serves only to cloud the mirror of your reason and exhaust the delicate machinery of your spirit." Instead of saying, "I'm busy," say, "I find myself currently besieged by a mountain of unrelenting obligations and a multitude of trifles that demand my absolute and undivided attention, leaving me without a single spare moment to breathe, let alone engage in further discourse." Instead of saying, "You're welcome," say, "Think nothing of the minor exertion I have put forth on your behalf, for it brings a glow of profound satisfaction to my soul to know that my humble assistance has eased the burden of your current predicament." Instead of saying, "It's raining," say, "The heavens have seen fit to open their heavy, leaden gates and pour forth a relentless deluge of celestial tears, turning the very earth beneath our feet into a treacherous and sodden mire of liquid despair." Instead of saying, "I'm lazy," say, "I have surrendered my physical form to a state of most exquisite and stationary repose, as the very idea of exerting even the slightest ounce of effort feels like a grave insult to my current and most cherished tranquility." Instead of saying, "This is hard," say, "The task before me has proven to be a labyrinth of such monumental complexity and staggering difficulty that I fear my mental faculties may fracture under the sheer weight of its unsolvable nature." May your day be filled with endless wonders and whims. Would you like more of these? Then follow now.